end of our pilgrimage here in Krakow at World Youth Day, and we're joined with Father Grant, our own parish priest. So Father, what's your thoughts as we come to the end of our pilgrimage here in Krakow?
Thanks, Brian. It's been a wonderful experience of the universality of the Church. I think it's been a great opportunity for the young people from Scotland to see how the Church comprises all people from different traditions and continents, and who are unashamedly Catholic in their belief and in their practice, and who are not shy or embarrassed to show their love for God or their devotion to Our Blessed Lady. And that's something that we Scots back home and Scottish Catholics, we're much more reticent about showing our, publicly displaying our beliefs, and that's not the case here in Krakow. So I think it was good for our young people to see that, and to know that there's nothing odd or peculiar about being a practicing Catholic. And I think so often that's the impression I think they get back home, that if they go to Mass or they say their prayers or they believe in all the essential teachings of the Church, that somehow they're a bit different or a bit odd. Well, here in Krakow this last 7 days, we've shown that we're not alone in that, and that there are millions like us throughout the world who believe the same things, who have the same love for God and love for Our Lady and the same love for the Church. So that's the first thing. I think it gives us a wonderful picture of the universality of the Catholic Church. And the fact that so many of these younger people too have made enormous sacrifices to be here. Some have travelled over 36 hours at great cost from China, New Zealand, Asia, parts of Asia, South America. So that's been a wonderful experience, and quite humbling as well to think that young people think so much of God and of our Holy Father that they would make those sacrifices. So that's my first thoughts at the end of this World Youth Day.
And Father, is this your first World Youth Day? Have you been before, or is this your first time?
Brian, is very much my first time here. I'm willing to say I've perhaps made it a wee bit too late to come to World Youth Day, because it's certainly an experience for young people, and it's an exhausting experience. And I admit fully, I've been exhausted trying to keep up with the young people, their joy, their exuberance, and nothing seems to have kept them down. The searing heat, and then as you can see here, torrential downpours, doesn't seem to dampen their spirits. But it's been an eye-opener for me, and perhaps, sadly, maybe an indication to me that I'm not perhaps as young as I used to be. But nevertheless, a wonderful experience, and who knows, the Pope, the Holy Father, announced this morning that in 3 years' time we would meet again in Panama. So, never say no.
And finally, Father, do you have anything you want to say to the young people who have been here in Krakow and shared in this experience, or anyone at home who's been watching and following our journey?
Yes, to take courage from the words of the Holy Father this morning when he said that not to be afraid, to have the courage to swim against the tide. Not everyone understands what we believe or why we believe it. So to go home and not to be afraid to show outwardly your beliefs, even if it does mean swimming against the tide, have the courage to do so. In that sense, in that way, we're evangelizing other people, we're spreading the good news, the gospel, and that's what the Holy Father wanted us to do. So to the young people here and at back home, don't be afraid to stand up as Catholics, to let people know who you are, what you believe, why you believe it, and encourage them to think Christian values and to perhaps take our example to heart. So I hope this experience of the young people here will be a charging of their spiritual batteries and empower them to go back home and to take to heart the words of the Holy Father, not to be afraid to swim against the tide and to proclaim and to profess their faith and their belief publicly.
And Father, do you have any final words or anything you want to finally say as we end our pilgrimage here as we leave Poland tomorrow?
I think it's only right that as a parish we should thank Emmett Dooley, the leader of the Gonzaga project, for bringing us here, the enormous amount of organisation that it must have taken to ensure that 34 people travelled all the way from Scotland to Krakow and back without any incident. For the wonderful time that we've had here. He's a commendable young man. I want to thank him personally for his kindness to me over the last year and a half as we prepared for this, as we organised this. So I think the parish owes Emmett an enormous amount of gratitude, and also to Nikki Linus and Sister Stacey Cameron, who helped Emmett in the organisation, and the other group leaders who joined us for the last week. So I think my last word is to thank Nikki, and also to thank Sancta Familia Media for bringing this to the attention of the wider community back home and in Scotland and even beyond, because all throughout the week, as those who have watched the videos have seen, that John Mallon, using his linguistic skills, has been able to interview bishops and people from all different parts of the world. So it makes me very proud as the parish priest of Holy Family in Moss End to have been a part of this whole project. So I think that's perhaps the last thing I want to say, Brian. I think we better get out of here before we get absolutely drenched and soaked. It's been a day of searing temperatures in the morning, and then hurricane and thunder and lashing rain in the evening. So I'll sign off now, and once again thank all of you, Brian, John and Megan, for your part in the last 7 days.
Thanks very much, Father.